right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And tonight I'd like to talk to you a little bit about black magic and practice. You know, and in essence, I guess you could say this kind of goes with the series the three video series that I was putting together on possession, because there are applications worldwide that actually do apply. And I was doing some research earlier tonight while I was relaxing after work. Ooh, there we go. And I've been getting into the European style practices, okay, quite heavily. I mean, I took witchcraft, was been practicing witchcraft for years, satanic witchcraft, demonic sorcery, all that stuff. But since last year, I've been getting into necromancy quite heavily and the spiritual applications of that. Now, here's the kicker. Everything that I've studied from the Mazajira Cabal system so far has literally been keeping me around the Ukrainian and Slavic, German, and region of the old world. From the gods to the deities to the various different systems of Gaelic, Scandinavian, and Slavic traditions. Mostly as of late, it's been really into that Slavic aspect. Now, I was surprised to find that another application that I studied years ago, okay, I got into it years ago, and didn't really follow up through with it, as much as I should have, because of the fact that it interests me and it was something that I really wanted to do and get into. But I ended up getting my attention diverted someplace else, and I forgot about it for many, many years. Um, and then about a year or two ago, I started getting interested in it again, but I started learning from other African Caribbean styles, such as Santa Morte, you know, Quimbanda, Santeria, Pedro Mayumbi. I started getting heavily influenced by them as well within my practices and spirituality. And not just that, but hoodooism as well. And what was interesting is while I was researching and studying necromancy and witchcraft, specifically black magic, getting into the old formulations of the old world, I discovered that voodoo is actually practiced in Russia. Okay. Couldn't believe it. It blew my mind. Okay. That certain practitioners there in Russia from the Slavic traditions not only practice with the JCI terminology and methods of prayer in practice and calling on, you know, the Father, the Son, and that third party. Okay. But here's the kicker. To find out that they practice voodoo there as well really caught my attention. And I knew that there was a reason why my attention has been in that region of the world for about a year, 6 months to a year now. And I've been studying all these beings from the Mazajira, and everything's kept me right there from the Norse and Slavic and region of the world. So I started delving back into voodoo. I started asking questions and I started researching and reading and buying books, that I used to have in my old library, and found some new ones, references to new ones. And then, you know, I got contacted by some people that really want to know about possession. And it's funny because of the fact that voodoo is one of those practices that is heavily influenced with possessions of the lower. Okay, the lower or mini lower, the spiritual possession in that case really affects many people. And it's ironic because of the fact that through New Orleans, through New York, Voodoo, going all the way back into Haiti and into Africa, you see the type of spiritual possession that really takes place. In Haitian Voodoo, the Bokor really takes on a possession where when Baron Samedi or one sorry, when one of the other Loa infiltrates and literally possesses the practitioner, it's ironic to see what they do from eating a cigar. Okay, I'm talking the lit part in your mouth. Okay, I'm talking eating broken glass and not being affected by it. Okay, I'm talking about blood drinking from the black hen. Okay, to dealing with blackouts and loss of time, which correlates with possession of a spirit entering your body and taking over. So, I mean, I knew there was a reason why I stayed in that region of the world, and now I know. So, I've been doing a lot of research into Voodoo and the history. I got back into it, and I was never, one of the things that I really wanted to get into was initiation. Okay, I really wanted to become initiated again and on my way to that. But more importantly, I want to delve back into it on a full-time basis, much like necromancy and traditional Satanism. These three aspects in these three applications really speak to me on a personal level. It's not just Palo Mayumbi that really influences me, okay, in that region, in that type of practice, but the information that I've been gathering really is mind blowing. Not only from the possession state, but how many practitioners there are. Okay. When people think in America about voodoo, they think of the origins being from Haiti, unaware that the origins of voodoo originated in Africa. Now, there's been a lot of big time practitioners that have done some amazing things over the last 2 to 300 years, especially since the legal laws changed in the Creole states, okay, specifically that of Louisiana, around around the late 1700s, early 18th century, to be precise, and where people really started practicing voodoo out in the open. There's been a lot of big time practitioners that are still known today within Louisiana and that region of the world that had extreme influences within Voodoo itself, from corporate businesses to having their names publicized, much like John Dee or Edward Kelly, from Francis Barrett or Dr. Faust for that matter, okay? From occultism, the Grimoire systems. But these voodoo practitioners, According to the scriptures and the historical accounts, the possessive states are amazing. Hey, brother John, what's going on? Speaking of a satanic brother from another mother, but yeah, it's the possessive states are amazing. How they start out in groups from equal male or female accounts to the acts and the feats that they do or have done, and a lot of things that deal with lust rituals really take place in voodoo, especially in the past. Okay, from things from the Christian accounts of child sacrificing, like that of Marduk, out of the Babylonian region of Mount Hinnom, the big boiling, the boiler where human sacrifices were made, from burnt offerings and all that stuff, and why he became known as the Prince of the Valley of Tears. Okay. Now, what's ironic is that voodoo is full of this stuff, from child sacrificing to human sacrificing to eating the flesh of another person to spiritual conjurations of spirit, the Loa, and much, much more. And just think, I've only covered just this much of the research that I found so far. Just a small, maybe 1%, even a fraction of a 1%, I guess you could say. And trust me, I've got probably 16 pages just in the last day of just notes. Okay. And I did read about 4 pages of my notes on the Dark Sorcery channel just on this and how they were viewed. And it's really amazing to see the spiritual applications of this, getting to know the Loa, being chosen by the Loa. You know, those of us in the left-hand path know about how we have a patron who is our spiritual guide, our teachers, our mentors, and how demons protect us, because we work with the forces of darkness and all that stuff. But here's the kicker. We've also got creators, okay? Those who have created us. And those are kind of like our spiritual fathers, okay? And when a spirit like a Loa taps you on the shoulder and works with you, it's an honor, okay? Last night, I did an opening salvo with Papa Legba. And the purpose of that humble, how should I say this, petition was so that I can get in touch with Baron Samedi, Baron Dambella, okay? Dambella herself. And these two lords I really wanted to get to know on a personal level. I wanted to get to know these ones. And you have to go through Papa Legba because he's the crossroads. Okay, he's the keeper of the crossroads. And you have to go through him to get to these others. Okay. And what's ironic about what I've researched so far is not just in herbalism or alchemical processes, but ritualistic differences depending on the region of the world. But it goes far beyond this. I mean, the names, the terminology, the annotations. Like I copied 2 of them. Okay, and one of the ones that I was researching was the fire annotation, and that is so that you can be seen as an elder in the community. And the other one was another annotation utilizing snakes, okay, for Dambella, okay? And these are non-poisonous animals, by the way, not the poisonous kind like the Southern Baptist, who are freaking nuts as it is. But, that's my personal belief because of the fact that, I've seen what these people do, okay? And some of that stuff is, well, right out of the nut house. Okay, dealing with actual poisonous snakes like diamondback rattlesnakes, regular rattlesnakes, even holding them, dancing them, tossing them around. I mean, if you did that to an actual serpent, they're going to turn around and bite your ass. Okay. I don't know about you, but if you picked up a serpent, they always try to nip you. Okay. It's like, hey, let go of me. But if you allow, but on the other hand, as somebody who actually has taken care of serpents, okay, pythons and boa constrictors mostly, I can tell you that as long as you let them slither, they're all good. Don't hold on to them that tight, which is probably what they did. Okay. But still, the spiritual applications are magnificent. Using, um, for an example, the owl, which is the representation, okay, of what they refer to as, well, how should I say this? Think of it as a symbol of death, okay, a symbol of danger, even. They utilize this in the same way within the Langa, which is can be used as, say, a grisgris bag or some kind of box or object that contains a jinx, curse, or hex or whatever. But also their powders and stuff. They were very, very fascinating, especially to me because I happen to be an herbalist and I love looking up poisons and changing things and all kinds of things that go along with it. So I've been getting heavily into voodoo lately, and it's intriguing me more and more. Which back in the day, I would say, it's probably the reason why I didn't take then was because I wasn't prepared for what was to come. And the one thing we all know about practicing occultism and practicing the craft and the art and all that stuff, no matter what tradition, style, or philosophy, is that when you're ready for it. Okay. I get a lot of people coming to me and wanting to know how they can contact Satan and sell their soul for money or fame. These are the Illuminati types, basically. And I get a lot of people that come to me and they want to make a pact. They want to know how to make a pact and how to get their power back. And you know, if I told you half the stuff I've heard and seen, from people, you'd be astonished. Some of the questions that come my way is about accursed items, oneomancy, even, dream interpretation, how to deal with dreams, and why you're given dreams. Okay, about certain cult, occult things. How to deal with possession. Like I had this one customer, this one individual come to me, and wherever this person worked with a lot of different demons and a lot of different beings. And every time she went somewhere else, this being would pop up out of nowhere. Okay. The individual basically couldn't figure it out. It was a familiar spirit, but yet the individual could not figure out why is it following? Why is it doing what it's doing? So I said, when you did the ritual, communing with this being, did you banish it to ask it to go back, to where it came? Did you close that portal? Because when you do an invocation or an evocation, you're literally opening a portal. It's the same thing within the Naganga or on your altar. Okay, in your inner sanctum, you are literally opening a portal, a vortex between our reality and that of the spirit world. Well, the individual came back and said, "No, I didn't do that." Well, there's your answer right there. Spirits respect you as a practitioner because of the fact that when it's time for you to for them to go, they normally go on their own. But when you're doing a rite or a ritual, you know, you want to let them know, say, hey, I'm closing down this ritual. I'm asking you to go back from whence you came. Okay, it's that sign of respect, and it's also that confirmation. Hey, the ritual's over. This is where we part ways. I'll contact you if I need you. Okay, for future workings. And this is what's different between Satanism, demonology, and working with other systems compared to that of voodoo, is because of the fact that everything I've gathered so far just on voodoo is either voodoo, um, hoodooism, is that when a Loa taps you on the shoulder, they come to you and choose you for specific rites and workings and different classifications. But I also was talking with a brother of mine and trying to wrap my head around something. And I know this brother is a big time practitioner. So I asked him, I said, would you mind letting me be your apprentice? So I can learn from you. And he says, I can't. And I asked him why. And he says, because I'm not a Hugan or a Mambo, because only they can take on apprentices and initiate and all that stuff. And I found that quite interesting because, and I came back to him and I said, so basically it's like the warlock to the witch, or the Darak to the druid. Basically, it's, they deal with a superior god, and you can't do nothing without that god say so. So basically, it's just like Satan to Jesus Christ, or that of the church. You can't do shit. You can't wipe your own ass without, you know, asking for permission from a higher being. And he says, no, not really. We're all, equal in that department. Power wise, it's just that the way the faith and the belief is that when you go to the dark side and use baneful magic, you are no longer considered of the light, and you can't take on apprentices, you can't teach. But here's the kicker: some start out as a Bokor, others start out as a Mambo or a Hungan. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right because I may have just butchered the name in the title. Now, it doesn't matter if you start off on one or the other, but you can switch, okay, and become the polar opposite. Now, that kind of blew my mind because normally when you've gone to one side or the other, you don't normally go back. You know, those of us who have chosen black magic and demonic sorcery, we know that this is the path that we walk. This is what we were made for, performing these rites and the magics. Now, if we go by, say, I'm just going to throw a book out here real fast, Voodoo Visions by Sally Ann Glassman. Now, her thought form on this is this: the Ugan, the priests and priestesses, are more powerful than that of the Boko. Okay, Boko, Boko. Okay, but while researching this aspect and getting into it, it basically is, when you get into Haiti, you have what is known as the Dominican Republic, and then you have Haiti itself. Okay, you have the Ugan and that of the Hongan. Okay, the Manbo versus the Mambo. Okay, N versus the M. Very similar in nature and stature. But the kicker of this is this: two different countries, but same definition. Equal in power, and you can actually go more powerful the more you work and the more you do things. But while researching this aspect, I came across the Boko, the Bokor, and then the Bokor with an ER at the end. Okay. Now, what I found interesting was the Boko and the Bokor are the same exact thing. Okay, between the U.S. and that of Haiti and Africa traditions. But yet, when you get into the BOCER version, that's actually a witch doctor. A witch doctor. Okay. So the more I studied, the more I got into it, the more I got into the gnosis, it was like little, how should I say, neutrons and atoms in my brain going, you know. And it's funny because of the fact that it's kind of exciting to learn this. And it's something that I'm actually seriously considering getting into on a full-time basis, just like I did with necromancy, paleomayumbi, and druidism, shamanism, witchcraft, and Satanism. You know, I've studied a lot of different paths, and maybe it's that time in my life where this particular path is meant to be in my life. I don't know. One thing is for sure is that it's exciting, and most importantly, I am very eager to pursue this. So I've actually put the feelers out to see if I can get in touch with a Hongan or a Mambo to see if they'd be willing to initiate me and to take me as an apprentice. One thing's for certain, I'm no stranger to research or getting my hands dirty, so that's a good thing. I have no problems delving into the research and doing my own work. And in fact, I made a career out of it. A lot of people don't like it, but guess what? It's there. So I wanted to give you this kind of update because of the fact that since I've done the two of the three videos on possession, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the different possessive states and things that people have done under the influence of spiritual possession, be it by the Loa, the Ugan, demonic activity, or whatever. It's really interesting to see how these things play into effect from various different religions, what they do and how they do it, from black cats, you know, ripping the flesh apart with their bare teeth, their own teeth, to drinking the blood, even, not just using it on the altar for rituals. I mean, they say that a lot of this stuff is in the past, but is it really? We know for a fact that in third world countries, this stuff like cannibalism still happens. Hell, right here in the United States alone, cannibalism is legal. It's legal. But yet, defiling a corpse is illegal. Figure that one out. You see my point there. A lot of, but there's another thing that I want to run by you as well, in that you can read as many PDFs, you can read as many books as you want. Just keep in mind that practitioners are not going to share all their secrets in um, that field of expertise. Yeah, that's kind of the truth, isn't it, there, John? It is weird how that happens. I mean, you know, the funny thing is that when I do these videos, I don't go by a text. I don't read from a script or anything. I just talk about what I know. Let it flow naturally. And that's something that I think a lot of people actually enjoy, is because I'm sharing historical accounts, mythological accounts, actual facts, and showing you where things are. But at the same time, I do my own thing, you know, and it's kind of cool that way, I think. Much like telling a story. Maybe that's the dad in me, I don't know. But I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're learning. You know, it's always great to see you on my channel and participating in the videos. And I get a squeaker here, by the way. Oh, really? Well, you're the one that wanted to interrupt my video there, young lady. So there, you got your 2 minutes of fame. How do you like it? But anyways, that was my familiar, by the way. So anyways, yeah, there's so much more to learn and so much more to get into and to these arts. Every time you go back into something, you learn something new. You see something that you've missed before. And when I got into voodoo in the past, the last two times I tried getting into voodoo and making it a way of life through application, study, and practice, my attention always got diverted. And something about this time feels different. I don't know why. Like I said, maybe it's just because I'm meant to get into it at this time. I don't know. But I think delving into these applications and seeing where they go within your own study and practice and how they speak to you as individuals is something that's important. And just like any other philosophy or religion, I've noticed as well, just through my own studies of voodoo so far, that you're not going to please everyone and you're not going to get, how should I say this, a lot of likes. Okay. Everybody seems to have their own viewpoints and their own opinions on voodoo as well. A lot of things can be accepted, but other things not so much. So I mean, it comes down to you as the practitioner yet again, but at the same time, it has a long ancestral lineage that goes with this path. You know, in Satanism, it's more of a fact about you and your self enlightenment. It's about your personal growth within your philosophy, your path, and how you worship Satan and or Lucifer and the demons. Okay. Witchcraft, you're just dealing with the different pantheons, much like paganism and Wicca, but in voodoo, it's a lot different because of the fact that it's you're awakening your family heritage, your lineage. You know, about almost a decade ago, for an example, I learned that I'm 25% Native American on my father's side. And I realized then that it explains so much about my spirituality and my interest in spiritual and magical philosophies because of the fact that my dad was a Mason. He was a 33rd degree Mason. He was a sergeant, basically. And what was interesting about this is that you take that and the fact that the native side of me, the lineage on Indian aspects, you have shamans, you have healers, medicine men, and women even. So to get into that aspect, you're learning about your own heritage, your own ancestral line that most don't even delve into unless you get into one of these traditions that really allow you to explore it. So delving back into voodoo and seeing this and also remembering that I had the same ancestral awakening to where I've traced my lineage back 6, 7 generations. Okay. Literally 7 generations. Okay. My son makes 8. Okay. Which is spectacular because now you have a family tree, you have heritage and knowing where you come from. Okay. So if he has questions and gets into spirituality, be it whatever tradition he wants to get into on his own free will and terms. He'll have the knowledge and the wisdom to go into it with his eyes wide open. So that's pretty cool as well. And since Hoodooism and Voodoo are ancestral lineages, working with Loa, sometimes multiple Loa, is pretty cool. Like, for an example, I just realized, I just learned tonight that there are good Loa and there are bad Loa, which I didn't know before either. So guess what? I learned something new, just like you, John. So you take somebody of my stature who's been doing this for 30 years. If I'm telling you I'm still learning and I'm still growing, the day you stop learning and growing is the day you need to put up your wand, your cape, and your altar and just call it a day. Yeah. I'm always looking to learn and I'm always looking to expand my knowledge and wisdom in these areas. So take that into account within your own practices. You know, you're going to learn new things every time you delve into a system, into something new, which is incredible in itself. All right. So for now, I just wanted to update you on where I've been going and what I've been doing, and also kind of discuss a little bit about um, spiritualism and possessive states and what they can do. So I hope this has been intellectual. I hope it's been enlightening. I hope you delve into the systems like on your own terms and kind of follow pursuit, you know, in the same manner that I've done. But like I said, it is up to you and how you want to approach it and what you want to do, because it is your spirituality, not mine. Just like mine is mine and not yours. All right. So with that said, Agios Satanas. I want to thank those of you who have participated, like my brother John here. Those of you who will come in after the fact. Look forward to seeing your replies and your experiences if you practice voodoo. Um, as always, if you want to get in touch with me, message me here on my channel or on Messenger. I will get back to you. All right. Have a good day and or good night, depending on where you are in the world. Have a good one.